Hello and welcome to the virtual elementary family orientation. My name is Miss Lena and I am the elementary teacher here at the Children's Tree Montessori School. Our mission is to nurture and empower a loving community of global thinkers who embrace and honor each other. Our school motto and our 3 school rules are be gentle, be kind, be safe. Our agenda for today is to go over school policies and procedures so that we are all on the same page as we begin this school year. We will spend some time focusing in on expectations regarding student health and measures that we've taken as a school community to ensure that all of us remain as healthy as possible. We'll spend some time giving an overview of what you can expect academically within our elementary program, and we'll end by thinking a little bit about how we can partner together. We will begin our focus on school procedures in sequence, beginning with our drop-off. If your family resides in Old Saybrook, busing may be available for your elementary-age children. Otherwise, all children should arrive with family or caregivers each day during our staggered drop-off. The drop-off is staggered in order to allow for better flow of traffic, as well as a safe drop-off time, where there are enough staff members available for the expected enrollment of students. Elementary children and their siblings are to arrive at 8:00 a.m. The first car to arrive can pull right up to the valet drop-off sign in the fire lane, and subsequent vehicles can pull up right behind them. If the line is extending out of the parking lot and into the road, cars should pull in and form a second line parallel to the first one. For this reason, we ask that everyone stays in their vehicle, both parents and children, until a teacher arrives at the car, at which time the teacher will get the children out of the vehicle, out from the passenger side if at all possible. While you're waiting for a teacher to arrive, ensure that your car is in park and that you're signing your child in on the ProCare Connect app, which we will show you more in just a moment. If you anticipate needing to have a longer discussion with your child, or if your child is having difficulty separating that morning, rather than getting into the drop-off circle, please pull ahead into a parking stall. And when your child is ready to come to class, please safely either re-enter the traffic circle or in the morning only, walk them over to the side, up onto the sidewalk, and bring them directly to an adult on the playground. It is also important that you note that when a child is getting out of the car, all toys and home items are left in the vehicle. This helps children have a successful day where their items are not lost. Finally, if you have a message to relay to the adults and staff members, please ensure that that message is communicated through the ProCare Connect app or using a handwritten note. Often messages are shared with teachers at drop-off verbally, and it can be really easy for those messages to be misunderstood or forgotten, as the teacher's attention really needs to be on getting the children safely out of the parking lot and into the school. As we shared before, while you're waiting in the drop-off circle, it is a perfect time to sign your child into school using the ProCare Connect app. Once you log into the app, at the top of your screen, you will see what looks like a QR code icon. When you click that icon, you will be brought to a screen that looks like it's meant to scan a QR code. However, you don't need any QR code from us. Instead, at the bottom of your screen, you can click the blue Sign In and Out button. This button will only work when you are in the vicinity of the school building. From there, you'll be brought to a screen where you can select the children that you are signing in. While you'll generally be signing in all of your children, please be careful to not accidentally sign in any of your children who may be staying home sick or going, to an appointment. It can be really easy to accidentally sign in both siblings rather than one. From there, you'll click on the Sign In button. You will initial the screen using your finger, and then you'll receive confirmation that your sign in was successful. After a teacher escorts your child from the vehicle, they'll be brought directly to the playground to begin their day outside. This is an important part of their school day, as it allows elementary age children to socialize with their friends, and elementary children are in the sensitive period for being social, making friends, catching up on their evenings. All of that is really important to them, and having the time to engage in that prior to beginning their academics sets them up for a successful school day. In addition, this gives the children an opportunity to move their bodies and get in some gross body movement, which also helps children feel settled once they begin their day. Please note that we go outside in pretty much any weather. We only plan to be inside when the feels like temperature is less than 20 degrees or when there is a torrential downpour. As such, please help your child select clothing that makes sense for the weather, knowing that it is New England and things change really easily. Also, please ensure that they dress safely for outdoor play. Please do not come to school wearing flip-flops or dress shoes or scarves or anything that could get easily caught on playground equipment. There are additional guidelines regarding clothing, and you can see our handbook for those details. The school handbook also details all of the rules for the playground that ensure the children's safety. However, I'd like to take this time to go over a couple of the expectations that may not be readily apparent or intuitive. First, elementary children are expected to play on age-appropriate equipment, meaning we ask that elementary children are not playing on the smaller play school plastic type playscape equipment, but instead are using the main playscape that is built for their body size. When children are on the slide, they're expected to go down feet first. They can go on their bellies or on their bottoms, but it's important that their feet are coming out first so no one's head smashes into the ground. At the elementary age, children are allowed to climb up the slide if they are able to successfully communicate with their peers so that there are not collisions. However, it is important for the children to understand that this is something younger children are not able to do successfully, and so we are only allowed to go up the slide when the playscape is populated with only other elementary age children. If younger children are on the playscape, the expectation is that the elementary children abide by the rules that are set for the younger children during that time so they can be proper role models. On the swings, we ask that children do not twist the swing in circles, as this can lead to children getting their fingers or other things caught in the chains. On the tire swing, we ask that there's a 3-child maximum. And on the climbing arch, all children who are climbing up and then jumping off should be jumping in the same direction as one another so that we avoid collisions. Again, the children begin their day outside, and this really sets them up for success throughout the rest of their school day. And so we ask that all parents remember that this is considered a part of their school day and arrive by 8 o'clock a.m. so that the children can enjoy the full 15 minutes out of doors before they transition indoors for academics. We find that when they do that, children feel most regulated and ready for a successful day. We know that things do sometimes happen, but make every effort to be to school on time. If you are running late, which would mean if you're planning to arrive after 8:15, please call or message us on ProCare so we know to expect your child. If you arrive late, it is important that you park your vehicle and walk your child over to the office so that they can be escorted over to the classroom. This is really important. Even if the traffic circle is still running for other age levels, the staff members there really need to attend to the children who are enrolled to arrive during that time period. And any additional children who need to be brought to other locations of the building take their attention away from the job at hand and decrease safety. And so we ask that you park the vehicle and bring your child to the office so they can be brought to class in a manner that ensures everyone is safe. This is true even if your child has a sibling that is of the age in the next drop-off period. So if your child has a primary age sibling and you see the primary drop-off is still going on, you are welcome to go through the drop-off circle and drop off your primary age child, but please then park and bring your elementary age child over to the office so that we can ensure they are brought to the proper place by an adult who has the ability to do so. Unless arranged in advance, children will not be permitted to be dropped off after 9 o'clock a.m., as this is disruptive to both your child and the other children. Our discipline policy is that we utilize the practices established in the book Positive Discipline by Dr. Jane Nelson. You can learn all about positive discipline at positivediscipline.com, and there you'll find a number of resources both to explain what you can expect in the classroom and also to utilize at home. In general, you can expect us to be using clear and consistent expectations. Teachers will interact with children in a kind and firm way so that children know where the boundaries are, but also know that they are loved. We use natural or logical consequences when consequences are required. And if problems arise in the classroom, we engage in collaborative problem solving with the children, respecting their dignity and ability to problem solve. One practice that can help you engage in this type of process at home are family meetings, which are very similar to the community meetings we have in class. You can find more information about family meetings at the website positivediscipline.com. We are excited to share that this year we will be returning to our practice of serving a healthy community snack each day. In the younger age levels, you may hear that families are taking turns providing the snack for their entire class. At the elementary level, however, the children will instead take turns going grocery shopping with a parent chaperone. This allows them to go through the process of planning what is included in a healthy snack, as well as learning how to navigate the grocery store and make a purchase within a budget. So you do not need to pack a snack in your child's lunchbox. This should lead to much lighter lunchboxes than last year. However, we do ask that when you pack a lunch, you pack a healthy lunch that includes a protein, grains, and fruits or vegetables every single day. We do not allow any highly processed food or sugary treats at school, as this can become a distraction for children from their learning. We do allow the children to eat their food in any order, so it is important that there is no single item that is intended to be the entree, but rather an assortment of foods that your child will find both delicious and nutritious. If you find that your child tends to be resistant to this, at the elementary age level, it is really helpful to involve them in the process of planning the food that they can have in their lunch, perhaps through the process of a family meeting, and also the process of packing their lunch. This ensures the children are invested in and excited about eating the food that is in their lunch every single day, and that they learn how to prepare their lunch for themselves. We ask that you help us minimize waste and have a trashless lunch. This helps our environment and models good earthly stewardship for our students, and also is just really convenient within the classroom, particularly as we move to seat the children outside for lunch as much as possible. One way to have a trashless lunchbox is to purchase a divided lunchbox, such as a bento box. We appreciate your help with that, and not bringing in any plastic baggies or materials that need to be thrown out at school. If you're looking for help finding ideas for lunches that are delicious, nutritious, and child-friendly, there are many ideas on Pinterest. And please note that this year, eggs and nuts are currently allowed to be part of the school lunches. In addition to home-cooked lunches, we have Pizza Day every Wednesday, which will begin this year on September 14th. You have the option to order cheese pizza, pepperoni, or gluten-free pizza. Pizza Day is a fundraiser for elementary field trips, and the Pizza Day fundraiser is run entirely by the elementary students. They will be collecting the money, keeping track of payments, determining how many slices have been ordered, how many pizzas that means we need to order, making the phone call to the pizza restaurant, etc. They'll also be doing the mathematics to determine how much money we've collected and how much of it can go towards field trips throughout the school year. In order to assist the students in this process, it's really important that we make the process as streamlined as possible. For this reason, you have the option to prepay for the entire school year, for one semester, or to pay the morning of Pizza Day on Wednesday. We ask that you do not send in a $10 bill or a $20 bill with a note asking for us to forward the balance towards your pizza payments for subsequent weeks. That requires a different level of bookkeeping than we can supervise successfully. For this reason, if you do need to send in a $10 bill or a $20 bill, the elementary students will make change and send that home with your child that day. Payment envelopes are available in your welcome bag. Please be sure to hand them directly to the student pizza liaisons or to a staff member. Do not tuck them into your child's lunchbox, because if it's there, we will not receive the envelope until we open your child's lunchbox at lunchtime, and therefore may not have ordered enough pizza to accommodate your child. Birthday celebrations are a beautiful tradition here at Children's Tree, as our traditional birthday walk around the sun is a way to honor what makes each child unique. Caregivers and family members are a part of the celebration. They come visit in the classroom, and you're encouraged to bring in photographs from each year of your child's life or short anecdotes so we can celebrate what makes your child special as part of their day. The ceremony is so beautiful on its own. We ask that you do not send in any food or other trinkets for the celebration, but rather that we allow the celebration to be about your child and what makes them unique. More information about birthday walks is available in the school handbook, and your child's teacher will reach out in advance of their birthday to ensure that we schedule their celebration. At the elementary level, school ends at 3:00 p.m. Children will be dismissed from the classroom directly to the playground, where they'll have the opportunity to play with their friends while they wait for their adults to come on over and retrieve them. Please arrive 5 minutes early for dismissal, park your car in the parking lot, and use the ProCare Connect app to sign your child out of school. This step is really important, as it allows all adults to be on the same page about which children are still in the care of the school staff and who is in the care of their family or caregiver. Your child is then welcome to continue to play on the playground with their friends for up to 30 minutes under your supervision. Please note that once your child is signed out, we ask that you help ensure your child is following playground rules and being respectful to others. We also ask that you keep an eye on the time for those 30 minutes and ensure that at 3:30 all children leave the premises, so we can be respectful of our aftercare teachers who need to take attendance for the aftercare program. On occasion, due to the weather or other unforeseen circumstances, we may dismiss from the studio. The way you would know that is you'll see our yellow Willow Room sign hanging from a hook at the studio. So keep an eye out if you're not sure where to find our class. And be sure, before you take your child from the playscape and bring them home, that you have your child go say goodbye directly to your teacher. It encourages good manners and also helps all adults to be on the same page about where the children are located. Now that we have a sense of the school procedures that will allow our day-to-day to run smoothly, we're going to take a moment to focus in on student health. Please know that we take the health of our students and our entire community very seriously. As a community built on trust, we have to ensure that we are being socially responsible and keeping each other healthy. And so all of us have a way that we can contribute to the health of our community. Please be sure to monitor your child's health each day. Anytime your child is not acting like themselves, they won't have a productive day at school. We do not allow sick kids at school, so if your child has colored mucus or any other cold symptoms, they will be sent home. Other times to stay home are listed on the screen. It is important to note again that any vomiting at all, diarrhea, things like that are on this list, as well as colored nasal discharge or constant nasal discharge. So even if your child has clear mucus in their nose, it is important that if it is continual and the child is unable to comfortably move throughout their day, that they stay home, as they will not be able to be successful at school and will be spreading germs with others. In the event that your child needs to stay home from school due to an illness, they can return to school when they are symptom-free for 24 hours without medication or taking prescribed medication for more than 24 hours. It is important to note that children need to be symptom-free without medication, because when children are medicated prior to coming to school, partway through the school day, the medication wears off and your child is unable to move successfully through their day, and they are still spreading germs with others. Additional requirements for returning to school are on the screen and also found in your handbook. Our COVID-19 policies are developed in accordance with the guidelines from the Office of Early Childhood and the State Department of Education. At this time, face masks are optional for all staff, students, and visitors. Since masks are not a requirement, Children's Tree staff will not be monitoring mask wearing. However, if your child is choosing to wear a mask at school, please ensure that they come with it on a lanyard and labeled with their name so that it does not go missing throughout the course of the school day. At Children's Tree, our staff remains committed to respecting each family's choice without judgment. We would like to ask that families do the same. By treating each other with respect and kindness, we can help create a supportive community for our children. There are other guidelines that are in effect due to COVID-19. We will continue to monitor student health. Please be sure to help us in this by notifying the school office if someone in your household tests positive for COVID-19. As always, we will teach the children proper hand washing techniques as well as how to cover their coughs. Finally, we will be sure to thoroughly disinfect and sanitize classrooms every day, as we have always done. And there has been renewed energy put into our ventilation and air purification systems, which have been updated throughout the school building. We are mandated reporters, so if we suspect abuse or neglect, we are mandated by law to report this to the state. Now that we know what we need to ensure that we have a healthy year, I'd like to take a closer look at what you can expect of our elementary program this year. We are an accredited Montessori elementary program, and so you will find the Montessori approach infused into everything that we do in the elementary classroom. We have a multi-age classroom from 6 to 12 years old, spanning what would traditionally be grades 1 through 6. Children have freedom of movement within the classroom, and so they may opt to sit at a table, on the rug, in a comfortable chair, or up even in our reading loft, or even outside in our outdoor classroom. Each child spends their day engaged in hands-on learning in all subject areas. Field trips form an integral part of the hands-on learning for children at the elementary level. During this age group, children really thrive when they see how what they learned in the classroom applies in the world around them. And so we prioritize taking field trips almost every single week. Throughout the course of the month, children can expect to go to the local library, go on nature hikes and excursions, and also participate in more formal field trip programming at places like museums and aquariums. Drivers for field trips and outings are provided by parent volunteers. All drivers must have a license and insurance on file with the office. Additionally, the children are sometimes taken off-site for walks from the school building, whether it be over the Baldwin Bridge or to the local marsh. And this can sometimes take place without letting the parent know in advance, as we are looking to respond to children's needs in the moment, as well as responding to what's happening in the local environment. For example, when helicopters came by to replace the balls over the Baldwin Bridge, it made sense for the children to take a walk so that they could observe what was happening in real time. This drove student curiosity and can further propel them to do research and learning in the classroom. Another part of the elementary program that is unique is our focus on cosmic education. This means that children study science and social studies topics in an integrated way, where they learn about them across all academic disciplines. For example, when studying Antarctica, children might study political geography. They may study grammar using materials inspired by their love of Antarctica, and they may learn about food webs to better understand ecosystems. Our cultural curriculum goes on a 3-year cycle, allowing children to experience different topics each year in depth. Additionally, by working on a 3-year cycle, children have the opportunity to revisit similar topics during their lower elementary and upper elementary years, but in greater depth over time. This year, we are focusing on the continents Oceania, Antarctica, and Africa. In history, we're going to spend time with our older students learning about early humans, patterns of migration, the Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age, and also investigating economics. In physical science, we'll have the opportunity to explore electricity, magnets, sound, and light waves. For earth science, we will focus on weather and climate. And in life science, while students will still study zoology and botany, as those are some of children's favorite areas of the classroom, we will also introduce a particular focus on human anatomy. Often people wonder, how are children in the classroom held academically accountable if they're able to choose their work and choose their seats and study all of these amazing things? And one of the answers is that children have a work plan. This year, rather than purchasing a planner as we have in years past, children will be given a sheet like this to reflect on each week. Every child will meet with me once a week to develop a plan for the following week. In that one-on-one meeting, they'll think about what skills they need to practice to follow up on lessons they've received. What do they want to learn and practice more with regards to their language lessons, culture, math, geometry, practical life? They'll also have a chance to think about what lessons they're hoping for and what they're curious about. This will allow me to guide them successfully in the coming week. Additionally, the entire curriculum of the classroom is written out on checklists where children can keep track of what activities they've already done so they can continue to progress rather than returning to the exact same activity in the same way over and over again. For example, once children have done the first 3 equations with the golden beads, they'll check it off on their checklist so they can next time begin with the 4th equation, trying something a little bit different next time. After their one-on-one meetings, we will take all of the children's work from the preceding week as well as their work plan and put it into their green communication folder, along with any notes that need to go home about upcoming field trips or events. This folder will be handed from a teacher directly to the parent at pickup on Friday. We ask that you return the folder in the same manner on Monday by handing the folder directly to a teacher. This way we ensure that the information gets shared with who it needs to get shared with in a timely manner. The main way that we monitor student progress is through observation, both of their work with the materials as well as their written work. This allows us to see what children have mastered, what they're beginning to understand, and what they may need a lesson on next. Teachers track these observations in spreadsheets so that we could tell at any particular moment what materials around the classroom the child has been introduced to, what they are practicing successfully independently, and what they have mastered. And so teachers have a really clear picture of every single child's progress at any given time. While our main method of progress monitoring is observation, we do have a few formalized measures as well in order to ensure that every child is progressing and we can meet their needs appropriately. One of these measures is reading benchmark assessments, which are conducted 3 times a year. In the past, we used the Developmental Reading Assessment, or DRA. This year, we are transitioning to use the Fontes and Pinnell Assessment, and I'm incredibly excited about this. This test is similar to the DRA in that children will still be asked to simply read a book in front of their teacher, and the teacher will take notes regarding how the child reads aloud. Then, the part that is different than the DRA is instead of being asked very specific questions about the book, the child will engage in a really comfortable conversation about the text with a few prompts from the teacher, but it will feel much more informal and in fact feel much more like talking about a book the way they might with their parent at home. Through this conversation, the teacher will use a rubric to determine what the child's areas of strength are and how we can continue to help them grow. We will send home the information after each of these assessments so that you know what type of books your child is able to read independently and how we can continue to support your child at school and home. Some of our older children will be participating in a second form of progress monitoring this year using the program EdgeElastic. This is a program I've used in other educational settings I've worked in, and I'm really excited to bring this here to Children's Tree. When it comes to standardized assessments, most of us are in a bit of a bind because on the one hand, we don't want our children to face the stress and undue pressure of a standardized assessment. It feels so developmentally inappropriate to judge a child's academic potential based on how they perform on a test on a particular day. On the other hand, we know that as our children get older, they will transition into schools where they will be required to take standardized assessments. Not only that, but these standardized assessments have changed. Taking these tests is no longer about just bubbling in an answer, but knowing all different kinds of skills, such as how to explain your reasoning, how to select multiple true and false answers, how to select 2 correct answers from a list of possibilities instead of just one, and clicking on sentences that indicate a particular trait, such as an incorrect verb tense. All of these skills are required to be successful on the state standardized assessments in the state of Connecticut that are taken in traditional public schools. This is where Edulastic comes in. Using this software, we at Children's Tree can build our own assessments for our children based on any content area that we think they will find interesting and enjoyable. The data does not need to be reported to any particular state agency, and so there is no pressure on the children to perform at a particular level. Instead, they can treat it like a practice test. During these practice tests, they'll have the chance to see questions that are formatted in the same way as the state assessment, so that if they transition to a traditional public school in their future, they will have the experience to show what they know accurately on those assessments. Again, this is simply an opportunity for children to learn the skills required to take these tests, and the data from them is pretty irrelevant. And so there is no need to stress children out when we use Edulastic assessments. Instead, we plan to treat it like a fun opportunity in class to use computers and try something new. And we hope that the children feel that excitement and possibility as well. We know that your child is so much more than a test score, and in fact, more than their academics, and that is why we put such an emphasis on social skills and conflict resolution. Your child will receive many lessons on social skills explicitly as part of their work in class. They will also have the opportunity to use our newly renovated Peace Corners using materials from the Generation Mindful program. You can learn more about Generation Mindful at genmindful.com, as there are many articles there and resources for families. I encourage you to check it out, as I will be using the same strategies at home as we use at school, and you may want to do the same. Now that we know what the elementary program will look like throughout the school year, I'd like to take some time to focus on our partnership together. This is an opportunity for the teachers, caregivers, and children to work together so the child can have the best possible education. One of the ways that we can partner together is with regards to what we call the work of the home. We do not assign traditional homework at Children's Tree because study after study has showed us that traditional homework is detrimental to children. We would much rather your children lived balanced lives, spending time actively engaging in family life and engaging in extracurricular activities, whether they be sports or arts and enrichment opportunities. We want our students to live full, happy, balanced lives. Part of that balance is developing practical life skills, study skills, and the habits of lifelong learners. And that's where we implement the work of the home. These are nightly practices that we'd like to become a part of your family identity rather than an assignment to check off and send in to a teacher to prove completion. We ask that your child is part of their daily family life, whether that means cooking, cleaning, gardening, whatever that looks like in your home. We ask that your child is a part of it. We ask that they develop their study skills by practicing their spelling words every night. Spelling words will be assigned to children on Mondays, and They will be tested on those words on Fridays. By practicing the spelling words for a few minutes every night at home, children learn the importance of studying for success on assessments, and that lesson will carry them through as they go into middle and high school and beyond. Finally, we want children to know that reading is a habit of lifelong learners, and so we ask that families read every night for at least 20 minutes. This can mean the child is reading independently, but can also mean that the parent is reading out loud to a child and that they are listening and engaging in discussion about good books. Whatever that looks like for your family, we simply ask that you are spending 20 minutes engaging in text every evening. Though we call this the work of the home, it really is an expectation that these become daily practices in the homes of every child in our program. Certainly, things come up, and if there is a particularly busy night, we trust you to make smart decisions. If your child has a very late soccer practice one evening and comes home exhausted, perhaps they'll read for 40 minutes the next day. We know it all balances out, so long as we approach this with intention. If you need support, encouraging your child to complete the work of the home because it has for some reason become an area of resistance in your family, please let us know, because this is an important part of our process. Spelling practice can look a variety of ways, and we hope that it is actually a fun way for you and your child to engage together. Many children enjoy writing their spelling words down with sidewalk chalk or bath crayons. Some enjoy writing them in rainbow colors, or building them using bendaroos, writing them in shaving cream, or with Play-Doh. So really get as hands-on and creative as possible. If this is the route your family wants to take, feel free to let me know, and I can send home a list of dozens of ways to practice spelling words that can be enjoyable at home. For some of our families, kidsatozee.com has been another wonderful way to practice spelling words each evening. We recognize that families are working to limit screen time, and the games on this website take no more than 5 to 10 minutes and provide a thoughtful opportunity for children to engage in their spelling words each night. To log in, they simply go to the website kidsatozee.com or access the app on a tablet. The first time you log in, you'll need to enter our classroom code CTMS Willow Room. Your child will then click on their username, which is their first and last name, and type in their password. To begin the year, each child's password will be their first name. Some children may opt to change this to a picture password if they find that easier to remember. If your child decides that is the best route for them, I will be sure to send home a password card for you so that you know your child's password. When they log in to Spelling A to Z, they will see their spelling words listed at the top and be able to click to hear an audio recording of that word being said aloud so they know how to pronounce it. Then they'll be able to choose from a variety of practice games. Now, these are generally really effective at helping children memorize their spelling words. However, that only works with parent monitoring and participation. For example, in this game, children are given a prompt for their spelling word. In this instance, the prompt is, moss is a simple plant that has no flowers, seeds, or true roots. The kitty cat then can throw yarn balls at the letters to spell the word moss. If a child is engaging in this properly, they will first throw a yarn ball at M, and then O, and then S, and then S, practicing spelling the word moss. However, we have found throughout the years that for some children, there is a temptation, when left unaccompanied, to simply throw yarn balls at every single letter until they get it right. They just hit the button over and over again, like you might if you were playing an arcade game for which you didn't actually know the controls and you began button mashing, as some people call it. If that is the case, your child is obviously not getting anything out of this practice. You can either begin to supervise them more closely when practicing their spelling words, or decide that this is not the best practice route for your family. And that is perfectly fine, as there are many, many ways to practice the spelling words each night, and your child may do better practicing them in a more hands-on, physical way. Another way for us to partner together is for you to be an active part of your child's education, so please know that you are welcome to come visit anytime. We do ask that you communicate in advance if you are able, and that you are cognizant of your child's personality. Some children do really well with their parents observing in the room, while others find it overwhelming or distracting. Particularly if you're planning to have a short visit and then leave, some children find that they're able to adapt and get right back to work, while others become distressed and want to leave with their parent. So please just keep this in mind as you plan your visits. Communication is one of the most important elements of any relationship, and so I look forward to communicating with you regularly this school year. Thankfully, that will hopefully be easier this year as pickup takes place face-to-face on school grounds this year, and so we can have more authentic conversation. But there are other ways to reach out to us as well. We will communicate regularly through the ProCare Connect app, where we will send you photos and messages sharing your child's progress, as well as weather alerts and any incident or accident reports to let you know about any scrapes that may take place during the school day. You can also communicate with us via email, by calling or texting the classroom phone, or by calling the school office. All communication is really built upon trust. And in my 11 years as an educator, I have found that sometimes children come home with very silly stories about what happened at school. And sometimes these stories are even disconcerting to parents. And so I want to first assure you that as teachers, we hear equally strange stories about home sometimes, and that is just part of children making sense of the world around them with sometimes limited access to information. We may not be able to share everything with them, perhaps because of privacy with regards to another child. And so they may not always come home with a complete picture of a situation. If anything feels off when you talk to your child about their school day, I urge you to reach out to me right away. I would hate for those feelings to fester and to break our trust, particularly because there's often, almost always, a good explanation for what took place. And I would love to help set your heart at ease so you feel good sending your child to school every day. If it's something I was unaware of, I will also be really grateful for your communication, because then I can work with your child to resolve any conflict that may have taken place, and also to help teach them the self-advocacy skills so they feel more comfortable coming directly to me in the future. No matter what happens, it's really important that we communicate with one another so that we can have a wonderful school year, and I appreciate your help with that matter. There are other ways that we hope to partner with your family throughout the school year. One of them is that there is a lending library located in the office with tons of books about child development, psychology, enrichment activities. Many parenting questions can be answered by looking through the books in our lending library. So I encourage you to stop by the office and ask to take a look. We also have many ways that you can get involved in our school community, regardless of your schedule, as there are opportunities to do things within the school day, like listening to the children read or chaperoning field trips, as well as opportunities to do work from home in the evenings, such as grant writing or cutting out classroom materials. We would love to connect with you about your schedule and your unique gifts to see how we can best work together to strengthen our school. Additionally, there are many easy ways to financially support our school, as we are a nonprofit 501c3. You can sign up for Good Search, for example, which allows you every time you use their search engine to automatically donate a penny to our school. There are rewards programs through stores such as Stop and Shop and Amazon, and refer a friend bonuses. We thank you for being a part of our school and for helping to support our continued work with your children. We have covered a lot of ground in this virtual orientation, and so I want to recognize that you may be feeling overwhelmed and need time to hear this information more than once, and you may have many remaining questions, and that is more than acceptable. Feel free to reach out to us, whether by emailing me or calling the school, so we can answer your questions as soon as possible. Before we let you go and let you enjoy the rest of your day, I'd like to share a few save the dates with you. There will be a meet and greet for children and families on Friday, September 2nd from 3 o'clock until 4:30. This time provides a chance for your child to interact with other students, meet their teachers, and see their classroom space set up so they feel prepared for the first day of school. Please be sure to bring in your child's extra clothes for their cubby of spares, their indoor shoes, their pencil case, sharpener, and pencils, so that all of these can be set up in the classroom and ready for them on the first day of school. Additionally, this year we're hosting our first parent workshop of the year, Montessori 101, immediately following the meet and greet. We ask that all new families participate, and returning families are welcome as well, particularly if you feel as though you may not know very much about the Montessori philosophy or terminology that you may hear teachers use from time to time. This workshop takes place after the meet and greet, and childcare will be provided. Orientation this year takes place on Tuesday, September 6th and Wednesday, September 7th, which are shortened days that allow children to transition into the classroom and allow us to better meet the needs of all students. New students will have the opportunity to learn the classroom rules, get to know our procedures, while returning students will have the opportunity to focus in on what's changed in the classroom and how they'd like to begin their school year. Please check your email for details about who should attend which session, and let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much for sticking with us through this presentation and for joining us at the Children's Tree Montessori School. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at CT Montessori, as well as Twitter and Pinterest at Children's Tree. I look forward to working with you and your children soon.